Yo, it's your boy Jester the Undead.
And Sam Grimm.
And together we are Sick Fist. And right now, you're listening to Uncovering the Underground with your boy Skippy Ickham.
I get caught up in the lies. Stay 10 toes, I'll never fall. I can't help but wonder why. To these other artists are thinking they wanna come in to get it with killer, but they are not even illa, bitch. I'ma kill them in a millisecond, ready, you willing. Got a bunch of bodies up in the ceiling. You don't want it with us in the dark like a villain. And in your stomach is raining, you're feeling sick in the brain, bitch. I ain't even kidding. Stay in your lane, niggas slain with a vengeance. Off top, knowing what'll be the business. Color in the building and making them when the shit breaks. Rewind the rap in the rain, your mind never come across another one. I come with your time. Maniacal personality written within a rhyme, and I don't mean to be a menace and vacation by design. I'm a beast at this shit, ain't no doubt. It's just me and my nuts, and I hang in the mouth. No spot, I'm a rage, I'm a rat in a cage, and I hate the way shit has been playing me. Yeah. And I really don't like it. Why this? Better hit a hater with the right fist. Hi, bitch. Don't try shit. I split bitches in the head with a nice dick. Die trick. Take noise in a nice stitch. Need all the time. Entwine lines that I spit. You don't wanna go to war with my clique. Bring it to everybody. It's about to be a crisis. Yo.
There's a world outside. We'll never know beyond these walls. There's a needle of time runs through your veins. Hear the locusts cry as the angel dies on through the night. I can't believe I cannot say second by one way of it.
You don't wanna bring it to a motherfucker in the brutal biz. Click this shit, gonna twitch your neck quick if you try to test this. Fucker run a trial, piece it like a game of Tetris. Fuck your shit, we fucking sick. You ain't shit but a bitch with a tiny ass dick and a lip I can stick with a wicked sick fist. You ain't fucking with the team, bro, we killers in this bitch, yeah. You want the smoke? Well, we got the noise. Bring the 9 I tote. If you want the toys, stitch them all with rope. Call up all the boys. The method we evoke leaves you all destroyed. We all employ wicked allegories with rhymes of flame for every category. Spending all the time in the laboratory, equating ways to conquer territory. So if you're in the way, bitch, you can't get gory. Find your body down at the bottom of a quarry. Bitch, you know the story. We go for all the glory. Spread the torch, pouring through a sound so dope and morbid, bro. We hold it down where you war with foreign lords for the crown. Let's throw the orange lord to the ground. Let the needle pierce your vein. The time has come to end your pain. Humanity is just a stain that plagues the earth and brings a rain. We'll call the herd, so nature reigns. Anarchist war will kill the hate and leave the few to congregate and reinvent a better place.
There's a world outside we'll never know beyond these walls. There's a needle of time runs through your eyes. Hear the locusts cry as the angel dies on through the night. I can't believe I cannot say second by what we have become.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Uncovering the Underground Radio, brought to you by First Angel Media and Brutal Business Entertainment. As always, I'm your host, Skippy Ickham, and I'm glad to have you listening tonight. Whether listening live or streaming this after the fact, please click the like, share, and follow buttons on whatever platform you're listening to us from iTunes to iHeartRadio, Spotify, and everything in between. The more that you do that, the more that it moves us up the podcast community rankings, the more people that discover the show, and ultimately the bigger and better things that we can continue to do with the show. So please do that for us. We'd really appreciate it. We do want to welcome you to the show, whether this is your first time or you are a repeat listener. We are, happy to have you listening tonight and joining the show. We bring you a show each and every Thursday night, 8 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, interviewing and talking with some of the greatest in the underground across all platforms, from acting and modeling to bands and hip-hop artists, everything in between. We bring you on this show and we uncover the underground together. We do want to thank our sponsors, Tattooed Scumbag Apparel, and you can check them out at tattooedscumbag.com. Great merchandise company from here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, owned by Joe Ball, a local tattoo artist. Guy's phenomenal on his tattoos in his shop. He's great with his clothesline. He makes, everything from hoodies to sweatpants, socks, beanies, everything in between. Good quality gear that I wear not only when I'm on stage, but I wear it around the house. I wear it when I run to the store. So I do certainly support it and think that you should as well. You can check them out once again, tattooedscumbag.com. Use promo code BBE10 for 10% off your order. And if you're a tattoo scumbag like me, you'll love it. Check them out. We also want to thank Roush Designs, Legion Artworks, 5 Milligram Artworks, and R3 Graphics for all the work that they do for Brutal Business and obviously for our show as well. So much love to those guys. And lastly, if you're looking for any BBE upcoming news, check out www.teambrutalbusiness.com. Everything from modeling, music, video game stream team, horror review columns, paranormal team, and everything in between. We got it all. Check us out. We're always putting up updates. Now, real quick, before I bring our guest on for the evening, I do want to do a little bitch session about my experiences lately with promoting the show. So I want to apologize to my guest because there was a couple weeks where I had off with personal reasons that I'd already announced well ahead of time. But last week had to be canceled due to the fact that Facebook is not allowing me to send invites on events. I'm able to create an event and can't promote the event, which blows my mind. So last week I tried to make this event 3 times and it kept telling me it couldn't create the page, only to, end up making 3 pages the next day when I wasn't on it. And then I had to delete 2 of them. Then the third one wouldn't let me send invites, and then this week the same thing happened. So I canceled last week thinking it was just a glitch, but unfortunately it's still going on. So if you're listening out there, I apologize if you haven't been seeing notifications right away on the events pages, but if you check out our pages frequently, you should be seeing them, even if my posts aren't popping up in your news feed. So make sure you just look for it, and without further ado, I want to bring on our guest for the evening, and someone I met a few years ago at a great festival, and we became friends. We started talking hip-hop, and he's got quite a nice little organization for himself, where he's at with a brand new label, a great team and squad in the underground, and we're going to be talking about that, his side project, his career in music, and much, much more. Born in 1984 in Chicago to a single mom with 2 brothers and sisters, initially began music in 1999 under the stage name Believe. Having floated around labels in the underground during the MySpace days, Organized Crime Entertainment, Homicidal Killers Entertainment, Brimstone Records, Killer Track Productions, etc., until founding his own label, Toxic Productions, with Scrap Souls, Sniper to Profit, and Sick, performing alongside acts like D12, Tech 9, ICP, Twisted, Subnoise Soldiers, Big B, Mars, Other Mars, Kung Fu Vampire, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Boondocks, and the list goes on and on. This gentleman is certainly very impressive, someone who should be on your radar if he's not already, and we're going to bring him on the show without further ado. My man, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, brother. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Why don't you tell the folks who you are and what brought you on the show tonight, what you came from. I want to hear about your story first and foremost. I like to start it out traditional. Tell us a little bit about what created the man that we now have on the show tonight.
All right. Well, my old stage name was Believe way back prehistoric times. I go by King Torch now. Where I come from, I grew up between Chicago and Detroit, and I live in the suburbs with my family because God, crime sucks. 4 kids, 3 daughters, 1 son. From 16 to 2, we got driver's ed and diapers in one house. It's either a good time or a nightmare, depending on the day, how you look at it.
Absolutely.
But what made me me is, dealing with, everything that's gone on in life. And God, I'm 35 now. I'm getting old, man. 35 years. I feel like it gives me an authenticity that I like to see in other people. Like I remember seeing you on stage at Shrunken Heads. What was that, 2018?
I believe so, yeah, 2018.
Yeah, at the little, it was a Veterans Hall.
Yeah.
That Spooky X Lil Mama had put together. But, I remember seeing, that was my first night actually stepping back into the underground because Nasty kept badgering me. He's like, you need to come out, you need to come out, you need to come out. I was like, fine, man, just fucking come out. So a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time, Saint Sinna, who I go back with to 2005. Got to meet Genosha X that night, who's, dollar for dollar, one of the best MCs alive, if you ask me.
That's awesome, man.
And
There was so much incredible talent there that night.
That was an incredible show, man. And, how can you argue with, like, $2 pitchers of beer?
Exactly.
It really enhanced the show.
Just don't eat the fish sandwiches from there, folks. If you ever go to this little VFW in the middle of nowhere, Indiana, don't eat the fish sandwich.
I feel like that's a complicated gamble either which way, eating a fish sandwich at a underground hip hop show.
It was a mistake, brother. I don't know what I was thinking. I was back at the bar. I performed. I was hot. I was tired. I wanted to eat some food, and I love fish sandwiches, and I knew that you wouldn't get a fish sandwich from there, but for some reason, I was like, I'm getting it. I shouldn't have.
I was calling to you.
It
was that deep freezer, like, hey, Skippy!
It was an inside joke for me and a couple guys on my label for a little while, this fish sandwich, because it was disgusting. I bit into it, and it squirted like 3 feet like across the bar.
Oh no!
And it was
that
like it was like yogurt on the inside of it, like it was like breaded yogurt.
Oh, that is such a horrible visual.
Yeah, it wasn't a good actual either. But,
no.
No, that's crazy, man. We met each other that night. That was your step back into hip hop after what? You said you kind of stepped down, put the mic down, and was retired. Did you expect to come back, or was that something that was just kind of unexpected, and it's now taken quite a crazy turn?
It was pretty unexpected. My retirement was kind of my hand being forced by my ex-wife, who was a complete lunatic. Whereas coming back was more my son being like, I want to do this too. And I was like, fuck it, I'll try.
That's what's up, though.
But now he's working with Donnie Menace, Class. We got a track coming out with Blaze and Gmo. So he's holding his own for being a 16-year-old who's just really starting to dip his toe, and he really lights a fire under my ass too. So
that's
got to
good.
give him credit for that.
No, you guys can work together as father and son, which is really cool. You know what I mean? It gives a different type of dynamic. You motivate and push one another in a fun way. I think it's pretty cool, honestly.
It's a lot of fun. Like we'll do our music stuff, and we'll go, play 7 hours of Rocket League for absolutely no reason. Then be like, shit, we need to start recording again. But we've got a really interesting parent-child dynamic. Because he's 16, I'm 35, and we're basically the same person. So I'm an immature little fuck. So it works perfectly.
It works out really good for you guys. Now that's crazy. That's good. That's how it should be.
Yeah, the chemistry musically took some time because he liked a lot of that little pump, mumble, this, that crap. But as soon as he got his hands on like DZK and Mission Infect, he never looked back. It was awesome.
Good. It's this generation now doesn't dig. You know what I mean? Like they want things easy, they want it quick, and whenever you want something easy and quick, you're force-fed a lot of bullshit on the top layer of the cake, never knowing that the inside of the cake is where the best bites are, but you only are ever eating the icing because there's so much icing to give. And that's the sad thing. And when people actually dig in and find the cake, it's a great thing to be able to open someone's eyes to that. So with you opening your son to some real rap, it's it's awesome because there's a lot of people that still hear them like, oh, I don't like that shit, I like this stuff, and it's garbage, you know what I mean? But when someone actually hears it for the first time and really starts listening to some deep underground music and falls in love with it, it's a great time period in your life when you find underground music, when you find that dark side of music that speaks to you.
Yeah, and it's a lot more visceral, man. Like, you know, I've known Damian Quinn and I knew Gino for years. You know, they were almost on every show I did way back in the day, and the music that Damian still creates and what Gino was creating was just some of the darkest, most visceral, but still poetic stuff that I think's ever been put out there.
No, absolutely. I would put Gino Kochit against pretty much anyone as far as writing dark underground music that you feel. You feel everything that he ever presented, whether it was painful or not. And obviously he told us a painful tale throughout a lot of his music. You could feel it, though. I mean, it wasn't just you heard a song about a guy sounding like he was in pain or depressed. You heard a guy that you felt that when you listen to, you're like, wow. And it's very few artists that can fucking strike a nerve like that. And he did that over and over and over again with whatever feeling he wanted to portray to you. He made you feel.
Absolutely. And I mean, now Damian, in his solo stuff now, I mean, he's taken a lot of the storytelling that he presented in his early years and has just magnified it and evolved into this guy who he can tell the darkest tale and you can listen to it from beginning to end, and it's so cohesive and so coherent, and it's such a wonderful way of storytelling too. I think it's really underestimated.
Oh yeah, he's a beast too, man. I've played with him several times and always enjoy every time I get to bump into him again and listen to him. And I got the fortunate chance of playing with Darkhaf a couple times back in the day, so it was something I'll always forever hold on to because I still pop on, the A Beautiful Curse album from Gino, and I listen to it quite frequently, and it just strikes me, man. It'll be forever one of my favorite underground albums of all time.
Oh, yeah. And then the album he and Liquid Assassin did was beautiful. They just had the Chapters 10th anniversary, which stunned me because I remember them doing Dead and Dying like back in 2007, but it like the digital remaster even just adds to it. It's great.
Yeah, it gets to live on forever, man, and that's what we hope it does. That's, as musicians, we want to not only rock, the stage right now, but we're hoping that we rock stereo systems from here on out forever, and that's great. I think he certainly will. And I think a lot of the underground cats right now that we could talk about would, but I think he's certainly one that will last the test of time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, then I look at people like Donnie Menace, like, he has this motivation and fire on the microphone that if you had to crossbreed a perfect MC, he's got 95% of it. And then you just throw a splash of DZK on there with some of the weird shit DZK used to say, and then boom, you've got the ultimate MC. It would be an awesome cross member to get those two together.
That's awesome though. Yeah, no, and it's cool whenever you see over time certain artists that you like individually that you would never think would meet each other, come into contact with each other, work with each other, and the next thing you know, there's a group or there's a couple collab tracks. And that's what's cool about the hip hop scene is when you're in a band, you can like two bands, but the chance of two bands collabing is very rare. But in hip hop, you got to love that factor and that element that you can hear any type of artist mix it with another artist.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the best collabs that I can think of off the top of my head are artists you wouldn't expect to see on a track. Like Fams and the Hooligans have Ugly with Mad Max and Billy Obey from Axe, and that track just from beginning to end just goes in.
Yeah.
Or Make It Mine by A-Game, which has 7 features on it and a hook by Gino, but it's so good and so coherent. It's just so vivid. But that track, that's one of those things that's going to live on forever.
No, and that's what you got to hope for. You have to hope to have that track that'll last the test of time, or that project, and let it run forever. People 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, you can pop that on and be like, who the fuck are these guys? These guys are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter, who's just about to turn 12, half of her playlist is Hobson, Nasty Inc., a lot of Saints in there. I was like, and she found that organically. She had no idea just people that I knew or used to work with, or that she was see at the wedding for that matter. But she
just had a good taste. Yeah, she had a good taste and started digging in the underground, started digging out those names. I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of cats in the underground. And there's a lot of different sides of the underground and sides of hip hop. So I mean, who's a reigning champion or king of one might have nothing to do with the other. But when you talk horrorcore, hardcore hip hop, there is, only a certain amount of names that really pop and ring bells that everyone, no matter where you're at in the country, has heard of that person.
That's true.
I mean, there's not a lot of people that you don't hear that know who Diabolic the Monster is, who don't know, like you said, Class, and some of these other cats out there that you start to name that, like, anybody I've ever bumped into from any circuit ever have known for the most part. I mean, if you take 5 people, 4 of them know about that person.
Yeah. And, like, Class, man, I remember when he was still with Infect, doing a track with him. And then, like, I had, when I retired, I guess I would say, like, I buried my head under the sand. I paid no attention to the underground scene. So when I came back and saw he was on MNE doing the Underground Adventure, I was like, God damn, man, I'm proud of you. Like, because he's a great person and a great artist. So not many deserve it the way he does.
That's cool to see, though, man. I've got to see a few people that I knew that were literally starting out as their first few performances that have gone on to become quite big, and it's like, you know what, it's a cool thing to see someone's progression and growth and turn into go from a boy to a man, you know what I mean? You see that growth and then go from just being shy on stage to being a rock star. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, my son, his first performance was at that same VFW hall, actually, where your fish sandwich incident went down. But he was nervous as hell, and then he got up there and he tore it up, and I forgot half my lyrics. I was like, damn, you just made me look like a clown. But I was proud that he went up there and absolutely put everything into it.
No, that's what's up. That's what you got to hope for. You want them to learn from you and be better than you. I mean, you should hope that your children blow you out of the water with everything you've accomplished. I've done a lot in my life. Most people look at me and think I'm insane with how much shit I do. But at the end of the day, I hope my son makes me look like a fool and just crushes me, like builds an empire way beyond anything I can fathom.
Yeah, I mean, he already does that to me at every video game I play with him. About Call of Duty, Rainbow Six, Rocket League, he beats the hell out of me. But I'll pause his recording session dead center, like, nah, man, that line wasn't right.
That's it. That's how you get your revenge.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'll wait for him to be in the middle of a perfect take, and I'm just like, oh, sorry, man, that the pronunciation wasn't clear enough. He's like, oh, fuck you, man. I'm like, wait, this is my job. I'm your parent. I'm supposed to piss you off.
That's great. No, that is. I mean, I can't play video games with any kids nowadays. It's not even fun for me. Like, trying to play Call of Duty with half these cats, I get fucking shot like 6 times in 26 seconds. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not quick enough to hang with these kids anymore. They're too damn good. I grew up playing Atari. They're growing up playing fucking PlayStation 7. You know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, the time warp from, like, our era to now, the technology in the games is fucking bananas. Like, I know my buddy Robbie Sacrifice is out there listening, but just to kind of pitch a story that I can give him shit about later. We're playing Call of Duty with him, and he's like, oh, yeah, I only play hardcore, a couple shots and you're dead. And then end of the game, my wife was laughing. She's like, oh, I'm not on the bottom of the list. And I looked down, and there's Robbie dead-ass last on our team. I was like, oh, man.
That's funny. Burn.
It was
That's great, man. It's a different era. It's a different time. I mean, obviously, in general, life right now, the world right now, we are in different times. Everything has evolved. Everything has changed. And whether for the good or bad, it's certainly ever changing. And as I think things are going on around the world right now, that is a strong statement, because when have you ever seen times like these? When have you ever experienced a global pandemic that is shutting down life as we know it in most cases? It's pretty wild to think about. 2020 has been a bag of dog dicks.
That might actually be an understatement. I mean, I talk to my mom constantly. She was born in 1946, and she was like, even at the end of the war, the other wars, things weren't this chaotic.
Yeah, it's a fucking mess right now. It's ridiculous, man. I mean, I don't know how it is over there, but here it's they just made an order yesterday, which I agree to, in the sense that, I mean, if it's going to help us get past this, let's get it the fuck over with, because, like, I'm done. And even though I'm not done, because it's still going to go on. But they made an order now that masks at all times. Like, you're not allowed to leave your house without one. It was that you had to if you were going into a store, if you were going anywhere around people. But now it's like, if you are in a public area of any sort, a public park, and you're not near a goddamn person, you're supposed to be wearing a mask.
Yeah, I think we got hit with that right at the beginning of May. Some places out here don't enforce it too hard, like Walmart doesn't seem to give a shit. But I go into Walgreens, they'll send you right back out to your car. So,
well, the stores have been doing that here. They've been doing that for a while, but now it's even, like I said, if you're in the park, like if you're standing in a regular park, you could go for a walk or go fishing and shit, and you didn't have to be wearing it. Now it's saying if you were out in public, you should be wearing a mask at all times, not just around public. And like if you're going out and standing in your yard and you're doing yard work at the bottom of your yard, you should be wearing a fucking mask right now.
I think that's pretty much what they have going out here, and I think a lot of people misperceive it as, oh, it's to protect me. No, it's to keep you from fucking coughing on other people.
Yeah, it's not. It has nothing to do with protecting you. It's for if you start to cough, we don't want your shit.
Yeah, no, like you can keep your dirty ass germs away from me. Go wash your ass, wash your hands, and everyone will be all right.
So the funny thing is I know it is an inconvenience in a lot of way to people, but it has been interesting interacting with other human beings. Because here's the thing, folks. I love talking to you guys each and every week, and I love interviewing people and presenting great artists and promoting. But at the end of the day, I want you all to leave me the fuck alone. And that's not even being rude. That's just being a human being. Like, I love giving you great entertainment, but as all of us like, just leave me alone for a little bit. Let me have me time. And I just lost completely what the fuck we were talking about. What was it? I just heard like a crazy sound come through the... Hold on a second. I just got some major feedback. You hear that on your end?
I did not know.
Wow, that was crazy. Well, sorry, folks, if you just heard a crazy blast of feedback come through, like about blew my eardrum out. What were we just talking about,
bro? Me time and the masks.
Oh, yeah. So it's like to be away from people. That's great. Like, I don't want to shake your hand, really. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I meet you in an embrace, like, I'm happy to meet you. I'm happy to shake your hand. But, like, to go around and if you work in public and you have to meet a lot of people, I don't want to shake all these people's hand. I don't want to be face-to-face with you more than I have to be. So, honestly, there's something to be said about wearing masks and gloves and all this stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. Keep your shit to yourself.
Yeah, I feel bad for, like, post office workers, because how many of those envelopes have been licked by somebody who's got their fucking sketchy place?
Ladies and gentlemen, you need to go to your local post office and give praise to these people handling these death packets. That's crazy. I never thought of that. Yeah, because they're just fondling these fucking saliva-packed death notes all day long. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't think about it much until I was pulling a lot of mail out, and I was like, shit, half of these envelopes have been licked by somebody I'll never meet in my life who's getting paid salary to sit at the desk. And I don't know if they're sick or, if they just tossed someone's salad. Who the fuck knows?
Well, that's crazy because, like, I was thinking about that ordering packages, like anything from Amazon or anywhere. I'm thinking, who knows how many people touched this package before it got to my door? And I'm like, who knows what kind of shit they had in their hands that was coughing all over this package? And it's things you don't think about, but when you start living in a global pandemic, then you do start thinking about it, and you're like, oh, shit. You're like, I need to quarantine. Stay away from me. Start spraying Lysol on people. It gets wild. I mean, we'll see what chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5 hold, because it was crazy because we got hit with the first wave, and it was like a real good left jab. I mean, it startled us. It kind of knocked us back into our place. We kind of shook a little bit, like, what the fuck just happened? And then we started to recover. We think we're good. We're hopping around the ring, and then all of a sudden, just a full-blown haymaker. Second one's about to hit now. It's about to fuck us up. And then we're going to think we're probably okay again, and we're probably going to get hit again. It looks like this might be coming to stay for a while. And it's going to change life a little bit, I think, for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes you evaluate everything in a completely different manner. Like, who touched this pop that I'm drinking out of, or did somebody cough on the cupcakes at the fucking Walmart?
Well, the pop thing that you said, and one thing I got to be honest, I'm a perpetrator of it a lot. Is you just grab a pop, you crack it, and you drink it. How often do you walk over to the sink and rub and wipe off the top metal part of that pop before you crack it? Not too often for most folks out there. And they say that is one of the dirtiest surfaces because it's being moved around a factory, set down on dusty floors, put back in boxes, shipped through this truck to that truck. It's got all kinds of dust and fingerprints and germs all over, and you just crack it and gulp, 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 right down the hatch.
Man, you just made me feel so filthy.
That's the truth, though. I started washing them about like a year ago. I started every time I'd grab a pop or a soda or a beer for me and my wife, I would go out in the kitchen and I would wipe the top off and wash the can, actually. And it sounds crazy, but I started doing that because there was cans where, just to test it, I would rub my finger on the metal thing a couple times and look at it, and you were actually getting dirt and dust off the cup that you didn't see with your physical eye, but whenever you wiped your finger on it, you got some. And I'm like, oh shit, normally I'm drinking this. I'm like, that's fucked up. So I stopped doing that.
I don't think I would ever even thought that. Holy crap.
I just changed your life.
You really did. You might have just, gave me a good excuse to avoid the old Rona.
That's it. No Rona on my Pepsi.
That's exactly what I'm drinking too, but I got the plastic bottle, so hopefully
okay.
Nobody rubbed it all.
Pepsi in a bottle, hold the Rona. Now, you said you started out 1999, is that right?
Yeah, my two of my best friends from high school, Tony and Caleb, got I don't know what the program was. It was some like super remedial program and a little, like headset mic, and we're like, all right, cool, let's start rapping. I was
okay.
Like, I'm in.
That's great though. It was a good time period in hip hop right then.
It was, man, but that was right before that like sudden rising of the Dirty South too.
Okay, yeah, it would have been about that time period, yeah.
When Crunk and Lil Jon's 8-word vocabulary took over the radio waves for like 3 years.
And then Nelly came out around that time. All these people from the South, like you said, yeah, they all popped up out of nowhere. It was right around 2001 range, because that's actually whenever I started in hip hop, was 2001. I started rapping, never in like the scene heavy. I was always just kind of did it to myself, and a lot of people didn't realize I did. I was in bands for years, and I just, as a fun thing, I rapped, and I was always pretty good at it, but I didn't take it serious till many years later. But that was right at the same time period, as you said, Little John came out. I never sounded like any of those folks, but it's like at that time there was just this wave that crushed us with this down south crunk rap.
Yeah, and then what did Sierra call herself? The Queen of Crunk and B or something?
Oh, I'm not even sure.
1-2 step and all that. Oh my God, that was such a. There was a lot of good music out then, but there was also a lot that you can look back and listen to it. Like, all right, it's catchy, but they're not saying anything.
Well, that was the wave of hip hop that was a tipping point, I think, for allowing enough room in the doorway of being open for mumble rap to slip in. Because you got to think, you had Big Pun, you had Tupac and Biggie, you had Big L, you had all these cats that fucking killed it. You had Brother Lynch back then. All these people across different sounds of hip hop that crushed it and were very, very lyrical and very just deep with their music. And then all of a sudden there was this wave that hit of this down south. It's catchy hooks, it's catchy beats, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean much. But it still did a little bit, and some of the songs were good, so then people liked it, and then they were able to hit us with the next wave, which was, now it's going to have a good beat, maybe a good hook, but nothing else.
Mike Jones. Who?
Exactly. I mean, that's how it happened. It was a 3-phase or 4-phase or a multiple phase, honestly, if you want to go back to the very beginning, process to get where we are right now, which is, I think, in a devastating, state right now, is where hip hop as a normal portrayal of the name is being put out there. Because when people think of hip hop and you say you're in hip hop, most people don't ever think of underground or really know about what it is we do. They know of an underground maybe, but a lot of people don't even know that. When you mention rap, they only know of rap as rap. They don't know underground and mainstream. So they start thinking of everything being what the fuck they've been hearing the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was getting a tattoo a couple weeks ago, and one of the tattoo artists in the shop was like, I don't like Eminem anymore because he's too serious. And I was like, wait, what? It's like he's making the best music he's ever made right now.
Yeah, I agree. There's different versions of it, and that's a good topic right there to jump into, is that, a lot of people do bash the fact that his music has changed. Yes, it has changed, but if you are a true follower of that musician, not just a bandwagon fan, but if you are a true follower of the artist, and you are upset whenever their music changes over the years, then you are a fucking chump, because the point of music is to evolve, change, and adapt. And you were listening to the feelings of the artist that's portraying it to you. So if all you want's the same exact album over and over again, then you're saying you want this guy's life or this woman's life to never evolve, for nothing else to ever happen to them, and them stay exactly the way that they have been just for your listening pleasure. And that's crazy to me. So when people look at Eminem and they say, oh, his music's not where it was. No, it's not what it was 20 years ago. It's not what it was when he was a younger man. He's a grown-up now, and he's doing it differently, and it's a different sound, and you have to adapt to that or you have to leave it behind. But for people calling him, you know, a chump now and a hack and like, oh, he's garbage now, are you fucking insane? Listen to the quality of the bars that he's spitting, his patterns, and his writing. And if you can literally do that and say that you think he's trash, then I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck you're hearing.
Yeah, like the first time I heard that Caterpillar remix with him and Royce, I was like, holy shit, this is probably the most lyrical track I've ever heard in my life. And there's people like, oh, that you know, the Logic version was better. I was like, no, Logic broke into a fucking monologue halfway through his verse about being half black and half white.
Okay. I never heard his version, but I did hear the song from, I heard Royce and M.
Yeah, his version, like, he drops like 8 bars and then does like a 3-minute monologue and then goes back into like 4 more bars and it's into the hook. It's like the weirdest transition I've ever heard in a song.
Okay.
It drags on.
Yeah.
But I like a lot of some pretty good bars. He's not a bad rapper. I mean, a lot of people seem to hate him, but
I never really listened to him, honestly. I've listened to him a couple times, like briefly on other stuff that I've heard that's come on, but I've never personally searched him myself and listened to him. But I have heard some of his stuff, and he's definitely decent. Not really my bag, but I mean, he's good. You know what I mean? He's no Eminem.
No. I mean, he's not even a DZK. I think the only person who could go toe-to-toe with Eminem lyrically would be DZK, and at one point he tried to, and it didn't pan out very well business-wise because it was based off Cannabis being a superior MC, which he's not.
You know what, though? Cannabis was very dope at one point. I mean, I really he was super bar heavy. Now, that's not shit that's ever going to catch on to anybody. So if you want to say that he's an amazing rapper, he is. But the thing about Eminem is an amazing rapper, and he can battle, and he has the charisma and the show to it. He has all those sides that you need to be a well-rounded musician, where Cannabis can bar the fuck out. But that's all you have, bro. Like, your shit doesn't make me bounce my head and bob. It doesn't make me want to sing the hook. It just makes me listen and say, holy shit.
Yeah, like, I really liked Mike Club. I thought that was a great album, and Poet Laureate was dope, but, like, he's scatterbrained. It's like trying to listen to Busy Bone, because, like, if Busy Bone will hit some great bars, and he starts talking about, you know, fucking Canaanites on the moon and shit, and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
It's like, you know what, you get that's when you know that there was a point in the song that they wrote to, and then they stopped, and they had to take a mental break. And it might have been a day, it might have been an hour, it might have been 3 weeks or a month. But then they came back to it with a whole different vibe to it. And it's like you're on one topic, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just flips on you. And, you know, sometimes that works, but sometimes it's really noticeable when you're listening, and you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, like, even I'm sure most people heard Death of Autotune, the remix that Bone Thugs did. Busy Bone like his first 4 bars are like straight shots at T-Pain, then he just fucking goes bananas. Like, he hit a crack pipe in the studio. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I don't understand. I need an adult.
Oh, shit. That's great, though. I mean, I guess keeps you on your toes, that's for sure. Well, talking about keeping you on your toes, we've been, obviously kicking it together for about 38 minutes now, and I think it is time to let the folks out there hear King Torch. So we have 3 different songs of yours with some great features on them. Which one do you want to jump into first, brother?
Depends. Are you looking for a longer track or not? Because, I mean, I think I said Alpha Click over, and that's only like a minute 54, but me and HB Grizzly kind of went balls out on that, and it came out really fucking well.
You tell me. I'm fine either way.
Yeah, let's go Alpha Click, man.
All right, cool. You heard it, folks. This is King Torch. This is Alpha Click. We'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground.
Coming from the seafloor, ready to attack shit. Anybody in my way is gonna get their back hit. Never giving any space, ready up in their face. Mood swings, bring it back, y'all will finish last place. I'm a wolf to the sheep, you will die in defeat. You can lay at my feet while they get their ass beat. I came to conquer the realm of the men. Under my rule, they will pray, they will sin. They will all fall to the darkness within. I will lay waste to the dreams of the kin. The king with the throne made his souls, I will march. Slaughter the masses and remove all their hearts. The tales will be told from the city to next. Of the sound of the streets, I'll be breaking their necks. The sword of the flesh is now burning with flames. Y'all will fall victims to this heathen today.
Walking down the street, alpha click. Watch your back, you will get hit. Don't try to test my wicked shit. With all that talk, make you my bitch. Make you my bitch. And empty my clip. Don't try to test my wicked shit. With all that talk, make you my bitch. And I'll burn you alive. Looking at a barrel between your eyes. Always crossing the line. Mess with me, mess with my tribe. And I know you're fucking sheets. And I love to see you bleed.
All right, and we are back on Uncovering the Underground radio show. We have been kicking it for the last 40 minutes with King Torch, asking him about his career, how he got started, his retirement, his return to the hip-hop game, and so much more to come. If you are just tuning in right now for the first time, don't fret, you can listen to the rest of the show, and if you want to check out the beginning of the show, you can always jump in afterwards. It's streamable and downloadable. Not only this, but all of our other past episodes as well, and you won't miss a thing. And that's right, tonight is episode 62, folks, so thank you for allowing me to do this 62 times so far on this specific show, and for supporting all my other radio shows that I run as well. It's always a pleasure to have you guys listening. You could be listening to anyone in the world right now, and you're listening to me, so thank you. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about that song, brother?
It kind of came to be because of the status on Facebook, because I've been listening to a lot of HB Grizzly stuff. I put up a post like, damn, I want to do a track with HB Grizzly, and she jumped in the post. She was like, hey, send me a beat. Let's get going. I was like, well, shit, all right then.
I love it when
got
that
a beat
happens.
from it worked out perfectly. I mean, I couldn't complain about anything, and I've always got something to bitch about, man. I'm old, my knees are gone, I'm bald, but that went fucking perfectly. So, sent her a beat I got from my buddy Matisse Soy, and we had the track done within a week. Bad Mind mastered it, and bang, boom, pow, it went straight out. Got 1,000 streams in the first month, so it went pretty well.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations, that's great.
Thank you, sir.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're currently working on? So we found out how you came to be, but why don't you tell us what we can be expecting from you right now as far as in the works?
Well, my son, who goes by Daylight, and I have our duo Stasis X album, which is called Ready for War. Donnie Menace is finishing mastering on it right now, and Dent One is doing some cool cuts on it. We've got some of it back already. It's on every side it could be of the road. There's humor, there's dark humor, there's a track about straight wrestling. Then, of course, we got Scum and Insane Poetry, Smalls One, Razakel, Donnie himself, Class, super famous Fun Time guys, McNasty.
So a lot of folks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a single track that doesn't have a feature on it in that one.
That's awesome.
Liquid Assassin's on there, too. Don't know how I missed that one. But the whole album's produced by Bad Mind. Because, man, that dude makes the best beats.
He is a beast. He is a beast. And you know what, Bad Mind, if you were listening out there, you catch wind of this, because I know you have listened into the show before. Always a lot of love for you, brother. Everyone on the show that has ever worked with you has nothing but great things to say. I've never personally worked with you, so I apologize for that, as I'm kind of retired myself these days. But I have loved your production that I've heard over the years, and have a lot of people that come on the show and love your work, and certainly give you a 2 thumbs up. So much love to you, brother.
I actually had he mastered a track for me this morning. I sent to him. It's from Me and Gruesome's EP. that we haven't titled yet, but it's me, Gersom, and Whitney Payton. And man, Bad Mind sent it back, and I was like, this is the crispest thing I have heard in so long. The man's just ungodly.
Yeah, no, he's very good. He definitely got a lot of skills.
He does, and his beats are fantastic. He's one of the most like jovial people you can talk to. Like, he'll always give you feedback, tips, places to find, good tutorials, and like, he's just a generally good dude.
Well, that's what you want whenever you're working with a producer. You want someone that's gonna be truthful with you, because you have people that you can just buy beats off of, and that's great. And maybe you can really work to that beat, but sometimes you need additional work and things done to the production that you're getting. And if you're just doing a quick lease, or you're just getting it off of a site somewhere, you're not getting that personal touch. So when you find a producer and someone who can work with it and craft to your sound and give you suggestions, you have to be open-minded, but they have the ear a lot of times to help make your song better in ways that you haven't thought of. So that's great that he's one of those cats that does that, because I had a producer I worked with for many years. He just actually retired right around the same time I did. And he was that way. He would suggest things. You know what? You're doing it this way, and that's great. Why don't you try this? I know you didn't think of that, but trust me. And shit would come out phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, one of the people I go to for like mostly quality issues, Saint Sinna, man. That dude has an ear that can pick up a fly farting from across a room.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I've worked with him before.
My whole recording setup is stuff he pointed at and was like, buy that, and it's worked flawlessly.
Good. That's the thing, is that's the hardest part, is to know what the hell you're getting. Like, when you start picking up equipment to do anything like that, it's always confusing, because I've never been a tech nerd. You know what I mean? Like, I know how to manage a computer and work it enough to be able to do what I need to do, and that's it. I can't be jumping into program settings and doing all the rest of the stuff. Never been me, just can't do it. So if someone else can jump in and show me what it is I need and what I need to do, that's better for me, because I would never be able to figure it out. I bought turntables before, all that type of shit. Never was able to figure it out. I just can't do the tech side.
I can't either. Like, luckily my son, if I have an issue, I'm like, yo, dude, this isn't working. He'll be like, yeah, because you're a fucking idiot. Do this instead. And I'm like, oh. Then I come out feeling like, damn, a whole generation of tech just passed me by in like 10 minutes.
That's it, though. It's the next generation. Is they're so used to tech that what we find to be a little difficult in areas is just second nature.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when you had to choose between using the modem and using the telephone.
Yeah, yeah. That's how about that, huh?
Yeah, like you'd be in the middle of like a really intense like AIM session and the phone would ring. You'd be like, fuck, I didn't get to finish my conversation.
That's great. I remember Yahoo Messenger and AOL Messenger, and like that was the thing. That was pre-Facebook. That was the hangout. Like, everybody's getting on AOL. Let's message each other.
Yeah, like, you could count who you could collab with based on who was on your AIM list. Like, I used to hit up Erica, who ER1 could. Most people recognize the name from back in the day, but I'm like, yo, who's gonna fit on this song? She'd be like, go over here and get this guy. Here's their AIM name. And that was how everything was done.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it was the way to connect to people around the world. And just previous to that, that was never a thing. I mean, you met the people that you met, or the people you bumped into somewhere. You had a telephone, but why would you be calling this random number? You wouldn't. But whenever internet launched and whenever instant messengers launched, it was a game changer, because now all of a sudden you're talking to kids all over the world. And now you're all of a sudden meeting these people that do these things that you like or you're into. And all of a sudden they're making video games to be able to play games with one another and talk to one another using the internet. And then it just spread into this giant web.
Yep. It was like unfurling a whole other world.
It did. It completely opened the portal to another world. Like it was the game changer. And now this world is solely dependent upon that thing, that we almost don't realize that there was a world prior to it.
Yeah, like my 11-year-old has an iPhone. My first cell phone I got, I was 18, and it was one of those shitty little Nokia phones that you couldn't kill if you tried.
Absolutely.
And you had to hit the S button like 37 times to get a capital S.
I loved it. Do you remember texting back then? It was like you wanted to say, hey, how are you? And it was like 78 buttons.
Oh, I know. It was like sending the simplest text message will take you 10 minutes.
But people did it, you know what I mean? Because it was new and it was exciting, and it was like, you can send a text message to someone, and you're like, no shit.
Yeah, and then like the Sidekick came out, and that was the new cool thing. And then it was the Nextel like ring back.
Yep, it's been a series of stepping stones to lead us towards total domination of technology.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a real thing.
They're experimenting with AI that'll, slowly take over Twitter. I mean, it's crazy. I remember, I want to say it was IBM or whoever put that Watson guy on Jeopardy, their AI. They put a Twitter account up that would learn things, and it became racist in like 8 minutes because all the people tweeting at it. It was crazy.
That's fucked up. Human beings turned this robot evil just because of their Twitter tweets.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter's an interesting world. That's why I stay away from it. I'm more of an Instagram guy, but that's because I just like the shit post.
I never got into Twitter, man. I mean, I have one, but I never was able to really capture how to get into their inner world, because I'd make posts, wouldn't get a lot of buzz off them, but I'd see other people make dumbass posts, and they would. But like on Instagram and Facebook and everything else, I was fine. But it was always like with Twitter, I have a bunch of people follow me, but no one ever interacts with anything. And I'm like, I'm doing something wrong with my tag game, whatever. So a long time ago, I abandoned it, and then I just never picked it back up again. And I'm like, I don't care. There's already too many social media sites.
Yeah, it's a way oversaturated market. I remember when people tried to make that MeWe thing a thing. It was like the next Facebook, because Facebook was banning everybody, but that didn't work out very well.
There's been a few that's tried to combat Facebook so far, but no one's really succeeded very well.
No, I mean, and the money Zuckerberg's got, dude, it's an unwinnable war. That guy's got enough money to feed the poor for the next 100 generations.
Sadly, he won't, but he will have enough to do it if he wanted to.
Yeah, but he'd rather, ban me for a hilarious meme about, Trump grabbing people by the pussy, so...
Damn you, Zuckerberg. That's funny, though, because... Well, how crazy, man. What that has grown into. I mean, think of the launching of Facebook as of MySpace. People are like, I don't know, I might make the switch. I might switch over and check it out. You know what I mean? And then it was like 3 months later, the whole world changed. Boom. MySpace was gone. Facebook jumped in. It dominated the market. It has been a part of every human being in every household on the planet in some fashion or another. It's just crazy, like the biggest site of all time.
Yeah, and I mean, hell, my mom's got a fucking Facebook, and she's 74. I was like, "What? You got a who?" Like,
what are you doing on there, Mom? That's crazy.
I can just imagine through my timeline and look at me with shame, like, you posted what?
Yeah, it's all bad, man. You don't want your people that are close to you on your Facebook. I blocked a lot of people there for a while that were close to me, and I told them all, I'm like, no offense to you, but I'm like, I don't feel like hearing your shit. Like, I don't want to put up anything. I'm going to be me on there. I'm going to be 100% me, and I don't want to offend you by me being me, so I'm just going to not let you see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only family member I've got on my Facebook is my sister. But, I mean, she's a bigger shit starter than I am, so I just kind of, follow suit. I'm like,
okay, so it just works then.
Yeah, I mean, she and I are kind of the oddballs of the family. My brother's a big tech guru guy, and, she's an author, and I sit at home, cut vinyls, and make music all day, so it works out pretty well.
Now, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I've got 2 brothers and 1 sister.
Okay. So 4 altogether. I have 2 older brothers. Did you think as a kid, is this a path that you thought you wanted to head in? Did you think hip-hop? Did you think music? What was your plans as a kid that you kind of wanted to follow at that time? I mean, I know it changes over time. I changed 8 times as far as what I wanted to do in life. But was this a plan of yours always all along?
I don't think music really ever caught me as a possible path until I was 12 or 13. Before that, it was cowboy, astronaut, or rodeo clown. I'm either going to the moon, I'm going to ride horseback into towns and shoot people with a Colt revolver, or, you know, I'm going to get run over by bulls in a fucking bull ring, you know?
Yeah, it was varied. It just depended on the mood. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, I had like a week when I was 8 where I wanted to be a stripogram guy. Like, oh, hey, your mom sent me to your door in this sash, and that's it. And
That's it, baby.
Sing you an old bard's tale from, you know, ancient England about King Arthur. All right, now tip me and let me get the fuck out of here. It's cold.
That's great, though, man. I mean, you don't know at that age what you want to do. You are varied. Like, it jumps all over the place. But then I think for me, whenever I found music, it was kind of the end stop for the most point. I mean, I was always daydreaming of what I wanted to do, and then I started doing music, and I'm like, oh, this is something I can do and something I like to do. And then it just grew.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely know that feeling. Like, I started doing, like, a track here, track there, and then goldmike.com was a big battle site back in the day. Started fiddling around on there. And then my buddy was like, you know, you can write actual tracks, too. I was like, oh, no shit.
And that was a game changer.
Yeah. You know, sitting down and writing a cohesive track, still to this day, like, I will not stop writing a track in one direct sitting unless it's done. Because kind of like you said about Busy Bone earlier, you know, if you lose that vibe, you just go in a completely different direction.
Yeah, and unless you find some miracle that it works together and blends. Sometimes you can tell that they were definitely two different like time periods that they wrote it, but it works well together with what was said. But then sometimes, as you mentioned, it's just left field, and when you hear it, you're like, well, that doesn't even make sense with what the fuck he just said 2 seconds ago. I'm like, wow, what? There's another big artist that's in the underground. It's a fan favorite from everyone that I feel does that a lot in his music. I'm not going to say any names because I'm not trying to destroy myself on the show, but yeah, there's people that do that. It's like, you know, you got to keep consistency. You know, I listen to your song and hear like 4 different sets of bars that have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, that's a frequency thing too. Like, you can listen to the same beat 10 times and get 10 different vibes off it. You just got to pick the one that settles most and you feel like you can get the most cohesive track to. And some people just love to wing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different writing styles out there. I mean, you can't really knock anybody for it. However you want to do your music, you do you. Sometimes it just bugs the shit out of me. But like, everybody's writing process though is different. As you said, you start and you don't stop until you're done with that. Some people work on like 5-6 different songs at one time and jump back and forth piece to piece to them. I mean, how is your writing process? How do you get in the mood when it's time to write?
Well, the fucked up thing for me is like most of the, like I'll listen to a beat and be like, all right, this is going to be the next thing I write. And then my brain will decide to click over at 3 o'clock in the morning and be like, oh, I got something. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. So I roll over, you know, I pull up my notepad and I start writing down notes. And then I'll sit there the next day and either stream it on the computer and write it on my phone or stream it on my phone in the background and write it. It really comes down to like more or less what I have time to do. Like if I can only write a verse, then I'll put the verse down and find someone to hit the hook, and then, you know, go from there. But if I can't cohesively write a 3-verse or 2-verse track with a hook at once, I'll just like source out the rest of the track because I'm a lazy schmuck.
Yeah, but that's your process, though, man. You know what I mean? Like everybody has their own process that they do. I don't know. Mine was always kind of varied. I would work on some songs from start to finish and wouldn't stop until the song was finished and not touch anything else. And then there's other times that I did dibble and dabble between 4 different songs at once from maybe 3 different projects, you know. But I would make sure that they each got the consistency of the song and what was to be captured in that song. I didn't just throw out random shit that I was writing from one session on the bars of the other one that were throwaway bars, you know what I mean, and just scrambling. It was always something that I worked with that project.
Yeah, like I'll hear, like sometimes I'll hear a beat. Typically it'll be a dead-ass Bad Mind beat because I'll scroll through his website and be like, I'm not sure if this beat fits anything I got right now. And then I'll be driving, I'll have like 4 or 5 bars hit me, so I like pull into the gas station, write them down real quick, write down the name of the beat, and then hope to God someone didn't buy it between point A and point B. But it's those moments of, son of a bitch, I'm not even in a position to be writing right now. My brain's like, hey, we're going to do this right now.
Yeah, you can't pick it. I mean, it picks you. It tells you when it's time.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's the times where, you know, you're sitting down trying to write and your brain's like, nah, we're going to think about, you know, Call of Duty right now. And I'm like, the fuck? I haven't played that game in months.
Yeah.
Out of my head.
And that's it. That's the hardest thing is you can try to force it and just try and nothing happens. It's like you're not firing up the engine. And then there's other times that you don't want to be firing up the engine. You just want to lay there and relax. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, I got some ideas. You want to listen?
Yeah, and it's usually like the least convenient times. Like I'll be driving
always
on
the
the
worst.
miles per hour, and my brain's like, well, we're going to write this down right now, or you're not going to remember when you're done driving. I'm like, fuck me.
You know what? The one of the best times for me, it's going to sound weird, but one of the best times for me to write music is going to work in traffic in the morning. When I'm not necessarily traffic, but just driving to work in the morning. I put the beat on and I have it, and I'll snip it to a certain spot if it's just that verse I'm working on, and I'll just let it play on loop over and over again. And I just tag it 50, 60 times, so I'm just driving to work. You know what I mean? And I just it's my process. You know what I mean? Like it's for some reason the morning drive, not the afternoon drive as much. I still will do that as well, but it's the morning drive. That time of day, I think when I'm still half asleep, kinda. That's a big thing. If you wake up in the middle of the night, I don't know about you, but there's been times I woke up to take a piss in the middle of the night, went to go into the bathroom, and all of a sudden genius hits you. And you're like, I really need to get back to sleep because I got to get up in 2 hours for work. But it's like all of a sudden, it's like, hey, I got something for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think my son has the same problem too. Like, we'll be playing, you know, we play a lot of Xbox in this house, like shamelessly too. But we'll be in the middle of a game. I'll hear him like kind of like start whispering something. The fuck are you doing? He's like, I'm writing. I'm like, dude, we're in the middle of a round.
Hey, it came to me.
Yeah,
that's great though.
But it's some of those random hits that make some of the most entertaining bars too. So.
Oh well, because inspiration strikes you, and that's why they say strikes you, because it does. You're sitting there and all of a sudden, pat, right in the fucking forehead. And you're like, whoa, what was that? I better write that down. It's not always going to work with you. You got to, kind of let it come to you.
Yeah, trying to force it usually turns into weird fucking verses that just you listen back after a take and you're like, yeah, no, I got to rewrite this whole thing because it sounds fucking retarded.
Yeah, you're like, what was I even doing there? I don't know.
Like, did I just make a joke about reading Rainbow? What fucking year is it?
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, man, I'm very stern, like you said earlier, on myself when I write. I've written so much music that the world will never hear. So like I've written 10 songs for every 5 that I put out, and they go into the vault that no one will ever have their hands on. Because I'm so picky on what I present to people to hear. It's become a problem.
Yeah, I'll recycle a beat into something else, but I will never recycle a verse that like I'm not happy with. I actually had that happen this past week. I was doing a verse for a track with D-Boss, Genosha X, and Hayes, and I wrote it without listening to the beat, and then put it down. I was like, man, this sounds fucking ridiculous. Like, what the hell was I thinking? It doesn't fit the beat. It doesn't fit the whole theme of the track. So I scrapped it, and I'm like, I rewrote it, but finding the time to record it in a house with 4 kids can be a real pain in the ass.
I would imagine.
And the humidity, we found out this week that the humidity likes to make all of my soundproof foam fall off the wall.
Oh, shit, okay. Yeah, it's been humid as fuck. I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm not over there, but it's been humid as fuck over here, so I'm sure it is there too.
Oh, yeah, walking outside is like walking into a gas chamber. You're like, what the fuck is going on out here?
It just sticks to you. It's like walking into a wall of muck. Instantly just like stuck to your skin.
Yeah, I feel like it's like walking into like SpongeBob's taint. Like all you can get is moisture and that smell of humidity. You're like, fuck, this is horrible.
Yeah, and you can't escape it. There's no getting away from it. It's everywhere.
Yeah, and it's like the harder you try to fight it, like we bike every day as often as we can, and like you get like, a mile in, it feels like you're waterboarding yourself with the fucking atmosphere.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And it seems like the humidity is especially the last few years, has really picked up, I think. I don't know if that's just me, but it seems like it's getting more and more humid each and every year. And just hot.
You're definitely right, because we've been out to Vegas a couple times in the last couple of years, and Vegas is never humid, but I feel like last time we were out there it was actually humid.
Oh,
and it's
that's
just
scary.
this barren thing. Yeah. especially walking down Fremont Street in a fucking like dust storm with the humidity. You're like, what is going on here? Everything that's so wrong right now is.
You're just covered in fucking sand stuck to you. You're like a sandman coming out of there.
And there's a place over there where you can get like a 60-ounce beer and refill it like 5 or 6 times for like $10 a piece.
Never a good thing.
No, yeah, trying to cover the top of that thing, you're like, shit, this thing's covered in sand. Now I got to go spend an extra $10 to get it filled up. Oh, look, another sandstorm. Why?
Yeah, I haven't been to Las Vegas, but I've been to Arizona before, and it wasn't humid when I was there, but man, just baking heat. The day that we left was 114, and I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I see my buddies Carl, my buddy Snipe out there, Donnie Menace is out there. They put up screenshots of the thermometer in their car, and I'm like, how are you fucking living in that?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's different though. I mean, it doesn't stick to you. It's just hot. I mean, so if you can deal with just it being hot as fuck, but it's not sticky, then it's not so bad. Because I was surprised on the way over there. I'm thinking, oh man, I know what it's like when it's 90 degrees in Pennsylvania. I don't know what the hell it's going to be like when it's over 110. And then I was surprised that it was very hot, but it wasn't how I was thinking because I had never experienced that type of hot previous to that.
Yeah, like Arizona, I think, is actually a little bit drier than Vegas. When my uncle lived out there, we used to drive out there, and it wasn't bad at all. But Vegas, it's like you feel like the ant that the kids used to point fucking magnifying glasses at. Like, well, I'm just going to be burnt to a fucking crisp in the next 15 minutes, even though I'm in the shade.
Oh, shit, yes. I don't think I'd be digging that too much. Me and my wife have been talking about going there at some point just for a few days. Just, obviously not now. No one's going anywhere, but that was a talk at one point in time. We'll see if that ever happens. We might never be able to travel again, people.
Oh, God, yeah. And then they're doing, is your state doing the Real ID thing where you have to have a thing that's a mixture of like a passport? Okay, yeah. They're doing that out here, too. I hope they're delaying it, though, because I'd like to be able to get back out to Vegas, but I don't want to have to go to the fucking DMV and stand in a, 8-hour-long line with a mask on in 95-degree heat.
You know what worked for me, but this was also pre-COVID, is a lot of people go to the DMV, but I don't know if you're a member of AAA or not, but if you are a member of AAA, even if you're not, I think you can go there. I decided, I knew that they did licenses, so I stopped and waited in the thing. I pulled a ticket. Within 2 minutes, they called me over. I told them I was there to do a driver's license update, get a new card, and they typed up on the screen, snapped the picture. Is that you? That's everything looks good. Yeah. Printed out the card, handed it to me. I was in there, got the driver's license in my car, and back out of the parking lot in less than 10 minutes.
Holy shit.
I was like living large at that point, brother, because the time before that I went to the DMV and sat there for over 3 hours in a shitstorm of people and chaos. And I never wanted to do it again, and I was dreading the whole day going back to get my license, and I was passing a AAA, and I'm like, you know what, I'm whipping in this fucker and trying it out. And sure enough, 10 minutes, I was back out on the road heading home, and I'm like, my life just changed.
Yeah, I took my son to the DMV, last week to get his permit. And the lines were all outside. It was like 90 degrees, hot as fuck. You have to have your mask on. There's people everywhere around you. And then it starts pouring, too. I was like, this is just the most beautifully fucked thing in the history of DMV clusterfucks.
Talking about DMV.
People are running.
I'm sorry, go ahead. It sounded like you cut off there.
Oh, it was a nightmare because if we left the line, you had to go back to the beginning, get signed back in, have them take your temperature, and, we're dripping wet, standing outside. And
I didn't think of that. That's crazy. Yeah, because they'd be taking out. Wow. Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, I was like, I'm totally uninterested in this. So he had to go in the building, and I got to go sit in the car and dry off. And I was like, this was fucking ridiculous.
That's wild. Talking about DMV, you passed your test the first time, your driver's test? That's a question you don't normally get asked during an interview, huh?
I swapped the written test, I think, 3 times before I got that right.
Okay, so you dropped the test, but you passed the driving.
Yeah, I don't think I would now for my life, though. I mean, I'm a horrible driver. If the speed limit's 35, I'm doing 50,
I passed my permit, the written part, the first time. Whenever I went to driving, I'd parked, and this fucking asshole of a guy that was at the DMV my tire was literally a quarter of an inch on the yellow line when I parallel parked at the end. And he got out and he looked at it. And he's like, you touching the yellow line, you failed. And I was like, are you serious right now? Like, I'm talking like cartoon shit. Like, this doesn't sound like it'd be a real thing. It was a perfect park job. I nailed it. I was actually proud of myself. When I got out of the car, I'm like, oh my God, not only did I get it, I just parked the best that I've ever parallel parked. At that moment, thinking I'm getting my license, hallelujah. And he's like, you failed. And I'm looking at it, and dude argued with me. He was a cocksucker. And I guess he was known for fucking failing people, just to be a dick. And the second time I went back, and it was this asshole again, and that time I actually did fail because I was trying to fucking back in, and I overcompensated and tagged this fucking cone. But the third time I nailed it fine. But that's a funny question to ask on the show is how many times did it take you? Because some people nailed it on the first time. There's other people like, I've took it 5 times.
I don't think I had to parallel park in mine, though. They had us do like the diagonal and the straight pull-in.
Okay. Yeah, they had cones at this one, and they made you actually park in the box.
Oh, God, no. No. I can't parallel park to save my life, and they got those self-parking cars, too, now.
Yeah, and this was prior to any of the cameras or anything, obviously, and this was tight little box, too. It was, like, not even a nice, normal parking spot. The way that they had it set up, it was intimidating as shit, and I nailed it the first time, and that piece of shit fucking failed me. Fuck you, guy.
Oh, man. He's out there listening like he remembers me.
He's like, oh, fuck, I've always wondered if you remembered me.
And now he knows.
And now you know, buddy. Fuck you, guy. We're going to jump into another song right now. We have both Paint It Black and we have Ghoulish. Which one do we want to jump into?
Let's go Ghoulish, man. That track came together. Ghoulish is kind of a legacy track because Kung Fu Vampire did his portion for me back in like 2009, and I completely forgot about it. And then he hit me up one day last summer. He's like, did you ever finish that track like 10 years ago? I was like, the fuck are you talking about? When did we do a track? He's like, dude, hold on, I'll send it over. And he sent it over. I was like, fuck me. You know, because he's grown hugely in reputation since then.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I put my verse down, sent it over to my buddy Nasty. He put his verse down, and Nasty mastered it also, and it just kind of came together really well. And I like the whole vibe of it. It's classic Kung Fu Vampire in the fact that he has bars, but he's so passive about the way he puts them out. I love the dude's art, man, and he's a genuinely good person.
No, that's what's up. We're about to check it out right now, folks. You heard it. This is Ghoulish by King Torch, and he's featuring Kung Fu Vampire and Nasty Inc. We'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground.
You don't wanna see me like Kato, cause you get up on the center, crumble like Kato. Killing them, leaving you all in the back of the van mobile. How could you fuck with the competitor? I go the extra mile cause I'm a predator. Praying mantis, silence of the lambs for the senator. You got me repeating myself, repentance for a shelf life spent. Sentence for the wealth I spill, wondering where my hell ride went. Who the fuck you think I am? You could tell I'm bent. Believe me, I'm easy to please. I keep my expectations lower than snake pussy. You musky, your entire team smell like fake sushi. I ache for the cream, asleep for the fish I lands push me. I take for the team and smash your brains till it's mushy. I take over going on in your city, yeah, I'm right there. When my sight glares, I might take you and you're right there. With a blank stare from the masses, you can't conduct voodoo, even if you wore glasses. And I'm asking you questions, and if you want another motherfucker on a world of testing, I'm teaching you lessons and keep that blessing. It's me and Timo and this bitch confessing. Zombies and vampires coming for you. Stripped of your soul with my witch's brew. Ghouls and goblins, I taught your crew. Get ready for the takeover, I thought you knew. Zombies and vampires coming for you. Stripped of your soul with my witch's brew. Ghouls and goblins, I taught your crew. Get ready for the takeover, I thought you knew. Ready to chop, ready to kill, ready to dead your ass for real. No need to ask for help, no sound, no well, these pussies lack appeal. The devil made me do it, the devil told me shoot it. I put the bullet in the chamber, slide back to click, clack and lose it. I might need a priest, I channel the beast. I summon the fiend, off in the business, double a free. My mind is simple, my urges are sinful. When it's creeping, leave it leaking, put the slug right through my fucking fucking temple. And I'm not okay, but I still make it through the day. Get the fuck up out my way, cause I'm rolling as I spray. Kung Fu vamp got my back, Nasty's on the attack. Bulger bloodline, wicked tendency, now let's fade this bitch to black. Zombies and vampires coming for you. Stripped of your soul with my witch's brew. Ghouls and goblins, I taught your crew. Get ready for the takeover, I thought you knew. Zombies and vampires coming for you. Stripped of your soul with my witch's brew. Ghouls and goblins, I taught your crew. Get ready for the takeover, I thought you knew.
Yo, I'm that lost boy, some call me a man child. But if I catch you out at night, then it's man down. I'ma kill you hands down. Always quick yet clean, I never miss a critical hit. I'm aiming straight for your spleen, y'all just acting. Thinking you tough, blasphemous, rapping by grabbing the axe and slashing, but contradict all your actions. I really talk to demons, do you? Ever taste the blood from that blade? Thinking that you're tough with your crew. We creep slow while racks play the dang. It's murky season. I'm a solver with problems when my teeth tear through your flesh. You know I'm building an army, a cult following, possibly feeding off animosity. Y'all Judas to Jesus, so I'm beheading you properly. All the
zombies and vampires coming for you. Stripped of your soul with my witch's brew. Ghouls and goblins, I taught your crew. Get ready for the takeover, I thought you knew. Zombies and vampires coming for you. Stripped of your soul with my witch's brew. Ghouls and goblins, I taught your crew. Get ready for the takeover, I thought you knew.
All right, folks, we're back on Uncovering the Underground. I am Skippy Ickham, and we have King Torch with us for the last hour and 16 minutes. We've been talking all kinds of things. If you've missed it, make sure you go back and listen from the beginning. And also make sure you click the like, share, and follow buttons out there. If you are listening out there and you want to instant message us during the show, the Spreaker.com or Spreaker app, that's Spreaker, allows you to do so. That is our hosting company. And you can talk to us during the show, ask our guest questions. We always love to see you guys engaged, so feel free to do so. That song was Ghoulish, and that was featuring Kung Fu Vampire and Nasty Inc. And that was a dope track, man. I did a very good job on that. It was one you didn't even expect.
No, yeah, I had completely forgotten it even existed for 10 years, and Kung Fu was like, hey, man, where's it at? And I was like, oh, okay, let me get on that.
That's crazy, though.
It came out. Nasty is an incredible mix and master, which I didn't know he did prior to that either, but, man, he killed it on that.
He's pretty good, man. We did a track together, and he mixed it pretty well, and it was fun working with him. I like Nasty a lot. We had him on the show last year sometime. Had a really good interview. So, folks, if you're listening out there, check out Nasty Inc.'s interview on Uncovering the Underground last year. Scroll back through all past episodes. There's something for everyone on the show. I've had a lot of strange and individual, crazy, awesome people on the show, and I love it. I love kicking it with great people such as yourself tonight, Torch. Just getting to pick your brain a little bit, find out who you are.
Well, I like to think there's still some brain to pick at this late into life. I'm 35, but I feel like I'm 90.
It's always, the saying is, you're only as old as you feel. You're like, well, then I'm fucked.
Yeah. I mean, if you're as old as you feel, dude, I need to start making funeral arrangements. Goddamn.
Yeah, I feel pretty old myself. I broke my back pretty bad several years ago, and it's made life a little hard with getting around correctly, and sometimes I just have bad days where I can't walk that good, and then other days I'm absolutely fine. You know what I mean? So it's a crazy thing that I definitely feel a lot older than I am.
Oh, yeah. I feel you on that one 110%, man. Like, I'll watch, Scum and Insane Poetry on stage, knowing full well Insane Poetry is, 52 or 53 now. Scum's getting up there, and these guys are hopping around like they're, 19 or 20. And I'm like, man, I'm younger than both y'all, and I can't do half that shit because I got bum knees, bum everything.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, I get energetic when I play, and I definitely move around a lot, but the jumping up and down and really bouncing around, I can't do it because I fuck myself up if I do that. I'd literally fuck my back up. And then I'd be fucked up for the next 2-3 days and wouldn't be able to walk. So it's just, you got to know your limits. But them guys still do bounce around. I mean, Insane Poetry and Scum get it. I mean, MMMFD definitely together are a great group and fun to watch live. They do jump all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see them on the tour Twisted had going on last year, or that might have been 2018 too.
I think
that was a couple years ago. But yeah, because they had the UGA, the Underground Avengers there too, and Class finished the UGA set in a mosh pit. I was like, God damn, that's aggressive.
That's cool though. Yeah, we played that tour here in Pittsburgh when it came through. That's awesome. It was a good show.
It was a great show. Fucking what's that crazy bitch's name? Jay Urja was on that show and got booed off stage. It was beautiful. I cannot stand that woman.
She wasn't at the Pittsburgh one.
Oh, you're so fortunate, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. That was like she picked up on after that, I think, or something. But yeah, she wasn't at the one that was here. But no, overall, everybody killed it that night.
Yeah, it was a great tour package, man. Like I think that was the first time I saw the Axe Boys live. First time I'd seen Twisted live since I performed with them. So, I mean, it was cool to see it all and see Chicago turn out the way it did too. It was dope.
That's cool, man. There's something about shows, man. It's when you have the perfect mix, when you have a night that goes well, the sound's good, the vibe in the room's good, the bands kill it, everyone's getting along, and it all flows well, and it's a good tour package, like you said. You know, those are the shows that you remember. I've been to hundreds and hundreds of shows, but there's a dozen, there's 2 dozen, 3 dozen, whatever it might be for someone that stick out to you, that those shows meant something. And that's great when you have a tour like that. I think that tour that night was pretty fun. We played that one, and just the whole night felt great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to things reopening and seeing how Scum and Raz and that whole group rebooked the Revolving Nightmare tour, because that was a great tour package too.
Yeah,
we had it booked out here, and COVID struck, and we're like, shit, it's kind of permanently on hold. But man, if I just looked at that flyer and I was like, I need to bring them out here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't wait for things to eventually return back to a normalcy where shows can happen again. I mean, there's a lot of things that are fucked up right now, but that's one I think that's hurting people, is not live music.
Yeah, like NetFest was kind of a nice break from that, but like some of it was pre-recorded. My favorite part of NetFest that I think a lot of people overlooked was the Critical Bill set, man. I haven't seen Critical Bill in years, and I love their sets.
Okay, awesome.
But NetFest is a good break from the monotony of sitting inside the house.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you need that because that's been a stressor, I would say, for a lot of people. Is it sucks enough not being able to go out, not be able to just go about and do the things you want to do. But I think that music is the answer for a lot of people with stressors in their life. Music takes away from it. And when you take the option away that you can't hear music anywhere except for digital recordings, all you're allowed to listen to now is this, because there is no live music. If you've noticed, at least I have, people over the last month or so have been a lot more tense and on edge than the first 2 months of this. And they're getting more and more tense. And it's only a matter of time before people start kind of snapping out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think once everything opens, there'll be a collective sigh of relief. Like, I feel like I should be able to knock out, 5 or 6 tracks a day right now, but I feel so lethargic from not having had to have, or been able to do shit for, we're going on 3 months, 4 months now, almost, actually.
Yeah, you just work or do what you do, and you go home, and that's it. Like, I mean, I work, I come home, it's like, do a couple things around the house, bedtime, go back to work. Even though nothing should be different because we still have the same amount of time in the day, I feel the last 3 to 4 months that I have no time, and I feel like I'm just an endless loop of nothing right now. And that's crazy because I have the same amount of time. So it's just a weird thing. It's starting to affect people's feelings.
Yeah, it's like a weird perception of self. You're like, there's this free time, but you don't know where the fuck it's going.
Yeah, like what happened to it? Why am I not finding it? It disappeared on me.
Yeah, and then I'm like looking through my Netflix, like, oh, I watched 15 seasons of Supernatural. Maybe that's where some of it went.
Yeah, that's how it does happen, man. Because there was time where I from work was having us work from home, so while I was working from here, I could have stuff playing on in the background, and you're just crunching through series of just random shit that you don't even know why you're watching.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched three seasons of Ozark, 15 of Supernatural. We started Walking Dead, and I mean, I can't even name the shit we probably already watched on the Fire Stick. But man, fuck,
Yeah.
You look back and I could have done this or this, but I decided to do that.
Yeah. Consume, though, man. That's what it is by nature. Humans have to consume. We consume everything. We want digital, we want media, we want whatever it is, but we got to constantly be reading, doing something. We like to consume. It's in our nature.
It is, man. Like that's the whole nature of, money. It's called money because you got to have it. You want this, got to have money. You want to have money, got to work. It's the cost of living versus, at least in Illinois, minimum wage is still $7. Who the fuck can afford a 1-bedroom apartment on $7 an hour?
Yeah, it's a rough life, man, right there. I mean, I know a lot of people want to oppose that and say, oh, we're not paying more in taxes because, and that's because the tax structure and everything's fucked up there too. I mean, it's all crooked across the board, but you can't expect, you might not want your taxes to go up, but you can't really bitch about someone that's making $7 an hour wanting to make more money, because how the fuck do you survive off that?
Well, yeah, and then every time someone tries to pass legislation to raise the minimum wage, it gets shot down because the companies are like, well, we can't afford that. I'm like, you guys have billion-dollar profit margins. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's because everybody's had the greed so far, and they don't want to let go of it. Once you have this much money constantly coming in, you don't want to start to lessen your grip, even though you have more than you ever need. It's greed. And that's the problem with it, is you do have a lot of people out there with children or single parents or whatever trying to survive off of making $7 an hour.
Yeah, and I know my mom managed to scrape by back in the day as a single parent, but prices back then weren't inflated the way they are now. Like gas, when I got my driver's license, was 99 cents a gallon. Closest I saw it come to that was right at the start of COVID. It went down to 120, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. I can fill up my gas tank for $20.
You just can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
How fucked up is that?
Gas. I would come up with essential things to do. It's essential. I need to go buy a 24-pack of beer right now to use some of this fucking gas I just bought.
That's it, because you're so pumped that it's low, and I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, wow, man, gas is the best it's been since I was a kid. I want to go drive everywhere right now just because it's affordable to do so, and we can just do what we want to do. And then I'm like, well, actually, we can't go anywhere. I'm like, so, yeah, I guess I just got 1 tank of gas for cheap. Thanks.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went. I think I had the same tank of gas in my minivan for 4.5 weeks.
That's crazy.
And that thing just get gas mileage because we'd go to the store, which is 2 minutes away, or the gas station that's right in front of the store, and that was it.
That's it. No, I remember the times where the gas was down to $1.30, I think, somewhere around there, $1.20 maybe, whenever I started driving. And it's crazy to see how far it went up and how things changed after that. Like you said, the inflation of everything really, really kicked in. Going from $1.20 to $4 a gallon, $3.80 a gallon. It's like, holy fuck.
Well, then you got the big oil companies over there. We're not price gouging. Our profit margins are going up, but we're definitely not price gouging. I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah, they're making absolute billions.
Oh, I know. I would love to just have 3 shares of stock in Shell so I could be stupid rich for the rest of my life.
Yeah, just it's all you need. Just give me that amount one time and then cut me off. I don't even need any more after that.
Yeah, just give me a little taste. I'll take my $3 billion in profit and go the fuck away.
That's it. I don't need. See, I'm not a greedy man. I always said just give me enough to pay off all my debt to allow me to live comfortably the rest of my life. And I don't need any more than that. I don't need to have all kinds of crazy toys that I don't need. Just let me live a very nice, comfortable life without having to work, where I can run my own ship and do my own shit and not have to go to my job and just pay off my debt and live a good life. I'm cool. That's all I need. I don't even know how much, what number that would be, but it wouldn't be crazy. $1 million, that'd probably do it.
I think a huge portion of life is the fact that as you live life and earn money, you also accrue debt no matter what. So it's trying to break even by the time you die. I don't want to pass debt to...
The goal of life is to not leave debt to the person after you. What kind of fucked up system is that? Your whole life you accrued debt. You live to make debt and then just to work your ass off to pay it off so that you can die so the next person can take it on.
I know. It's I can't wait to spread it out 25% to each one of the kids. You get a little bit of debt, you get a little bit of debt.
Congratulations. This is my present to you.
Little pre-written cards that I mailed to be, delivered after I die. Ha 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 ha. You're welcome.
That's fucking awesome. I love it. That's a good visual right there. Well, listen, man, we are running out of time here. We've already passed an hour and a half. The show always goes very quick, but before we do wrap up for the night, I would like you to tell us where we can check you out at, any other last words you want to tell us, and who you'd like to give shout-outs to, and then we'll close out by going into your last song, Paint It Black.
You can find merchandise. We're still building part of the site, but most of the merch site is up at neglectednoise.com. On Spotify, Apple, iTunes, there's other stuff out there, Amazon Music, Google Play, all under King Torch. You can find me and my son's duo under Stasis X. Then our label's got a bunch of really talented MCs. We've got Sick Rated, Nerdy, Excalibur, Ray Black, Wise Words, who is one of the most talented artists on the planet, who just finished a track with Fams that came out beautifully. I know he might be releasing that today.
Okay.
Sacrifice, obviously my son, my kids, my wife. The whole team we've got working together here is just fucking phenomenal. Erica, who's worked her ass off for so many underground artists for so many years. Donna Rias, who's on the Paint It Black track, who is the most slept-on artist on the planet, in my mind. Final words, follow your passion, live your life for yourself, and don't accrue debt, because debt sucks.
That's it. Don't you fucking do it. Don't you put yourself in debt, folks. Well, listen, Torch, yeah, go ahead.
Fuck him. Fuck the guy who flunked your driver's test.
Oh, yeah, and that's it. That's what we're going to leave it tonight, is fuck that guy.
I am so salty about that for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, anytime, man.
Well, listen, brother, it was good to have you on the show. We'll definitely have to have you on again. We are going to finish this one out with your last track here. This is Paint It Black featuring Dawn O'Rias, one of my great homies in the underground, obviously yours as well, and as you said, very slept-on, amazing talent, and a good guy. So we're going to play this, but once again, thank you so much for jumping on the show with me tonight.
Man, thanks for having me, brother.
Absolutely. We'll catch you next time, guys, on Uncovering the Underground.
Darkness goes effortless in. Let me retell my story begins. Losing my kin, losing my mind. Open your eyes, you'll see it within. Strength in the power, forsaking the hurt. Why can't I just be laying in the dirt? Insane, sick brain with the pain to leave these stains on my shirt. Forever unburnt. How can I heal? How does it feel? Is this all fake? Tell me what's real. Pinch me, punch me, tell me how the fuck please. I'm supposed to go on with this life when it fucks me. Ugly and nasty and cold. While my children they grow. I'm losing my soul, the world is so cold. How can I make it out of this life when I'm getting burnt like I'm cold? Painted all black, forsaken at night. Blend with the darkness but ready to fight. Axe in my hand, pistol is clenched. Body ready to be left in a ditch. Life is a bitch, so they all say. Tell me what's good, then they run far away. Such a similar sense, scrapping for ends. I'm attracted to darkness, enslaved by the sin. The anger's within, taking a grip. Knife for a knife, a clip for a clip. Broke from the past, nowhere to land. No place to go, I reach out my hand. The blood in a pump until there's none left. Find me a spot, extending my wrist. The flesh tears apart at the tip of the blade. Exposing the veins, but the pain goes away.
When I bring the rain to table with a fighting machine. And if a torch go out, bitch, I'm igniting it quick.
Passing the flame in the first on a relay. Like a monster can play with, slap me a replay. I paint a vivid portion of reality bold. Hoping the book of time reveal what is untold. And watch it freeze like a statue as everything unfolds. Exposing the true colors. Black and blue at the gas of a dash of a choke cold. It's so cold. Why? But the heart of the narcissist is what? But we feel with his wicked tendencies. Enraged when engaged with the people that pretend to be real as it gets. But I watch your father apart, stay there for stage. You little bitch. Don't let me put you on blast like a boombox. Sitting next to a cardboard box, rocking down on the sidewalk. From the burbs to the jacks, I really come for the place where they rep and they sex. I got people out of Chicago that be lacking in checks. They with paper streets with your blood flowing 20 or less. Don't think I'm only trying to flex, but connect. Bitch, I'm at your neck. That's what you get for disrespect. What? And I want to paint it black. I feel it so red. I want to paint it black. I want to paint it black. I feel it so red. And I want